Okay, welcome back and many thanks for staying. We're still with the issue of free SHS. Well, the free audits, which is nationwide, is what we're getting the PRO of the Ghana Education Service to talk to us about. Reverend Jonathan Betty is on the phone. Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Sir. Can you explain to us the scope of this exercise and what the data will be used for?
Well, thank you very much. My sister, let your voice be up a little.
Okay. What I'm asking is for you to explain to us the scope of this nationwide audit and what the data will be used for.
Okay, thank you very much. Teaching team, when they were asking for a report from Ghana Education Service, they requested that the management should submit some data for the government to see how best few things that they want to implement or to be added to the previous ongoing projects in the country to be done. So we submitted enrollment figures, but there is also a need for the management of Ghana Education Service to ask the management of management of our schools also to give them the data collection of enrollment figures and few other things, including buildings which are healthy, buildings which are not healthy, which we can call dilapidated buildings, and schools under trees. So these are some of the things that we demanded from the headmasters of our schools, so that when they are collected, we will give them to the minister for him also to sit with the cabinet for a good planning for our schools.
Okay, so this has to do with the audit, not necessarily about the free SHS, am I correct?
Well, it is also involving that. When we talk about the data collection, we're talking about enrollment figures of all the secondary schools in the whole country. When we get the right figure and look at what the CSSPS also had given to the government, they will see the actual number of students in all the schools in the whole country, so that the free SHS will benefit everybody.
I see. And exactly how will the information, now you're gathering information on infrastructure, on the number of students available, etc. But if you could explain to us, how will the information be used to implement the free SHS program?
Well, thank you very much. When we talk about data collection or auditing of our infrastructure and the whole country, government has also intended looking at the infrastructure standard of all the schools in the whole country, trying to see where there's a need for a new one to be built, where there's a need for a renovation, and whatever. Now, when we take this data into consideration, government will also make necessary plans as to how best the enrollment figures in our country or in all our schools can fit into their plans. Secondly, they requested also for the enrollment. This one will also help in the capitation monies that will be going to the schools, feeding and all that the president has stated in today's paper during the anniversary on Saturday. Admission fee, no library fee, and science and many others.
Right.
Without the numbers, he could not work with any figure. So there is a need for us to feed the government with figures.
Feeding the government with figures. I've just spoken to our Ashanti regional correspondent who tells me that what the Conference of Heads of Facilitated Schools are telling him is that they're putting together some data that will help them know and help them advise government perhaps as to which part of the fees should be waived. But the point is that the president spoke about free this, free that, free this, free meals, free lab fees, etc. So how does it work? Does it mean that we will have a situation where it is not free as the president says it is?
My sister, thank you. There is nobody that can compete or challenge the statement of the president of the state. he is the overall, he knows what he's doing and what he has said. In their manifesto, he stated free senior high school for every child in this country, which is ready to carry across.
Okay.
So we are all anticipating and praying that all that he has mentioned, that education will be free, it will be free. We believe and we trust the government that government cannot tell lies. Government knows where to get the money and resources from to sponsor all these things. So we are to wait expectantly so that 2016, 2017.
No, he says 2017, 2018. He says 2017, 2018. That's when it starts, according to the president.
Hello, I'm not hearing you well.
Yes, you said 2016, 2017, and I'm saying that the president says it starts in 2017, 2018, which presupposes that it's starting this September.
Well, sorry, I'm aware of 2016, 2017 academic year.
I see. Well, yesterday, over the weekend, he said 2017, 2018. By the way, let's get back to the audit. Where exactly did you start this process, and from which regions have you gathered information so far?
The information for the dilapidated schools.
The audits, generally.
The auditing is for all schools in the whole country.
Yes. Which areas have you done?
Across every country. Yes.
Which areas have you done so far, and what's the information you're gathering, sir?
Well, as I said, we are expecting that by 22nd of this February, all headmasters, all head administrators will submit this data to their regional education offices for headquarters to receive. Okay. We are expecting that any moment from now, they will start coming in for administration to start working on it.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, let me find out if there are any, apart from the 22nd February that you have for the head teachers, if there are any timelines generally within which we're supposed to finish this audit. And after the audit, what next? What's the immediate next step?
Well, thank you very much. The submission of this data to the government is very important, and we are adding seriousness to this collection. We expected that all headmasters, headmistresses will comply with this directive. When we submit, government will sit down and look at the enrollment figures and all the necessary loopholes in Ghana Education Service, or the things that we don't have. They will sit down and plan. They know what they're going to do to make sure that all their promises come to pass. We are expecting that everything will be done, and surely it shall be done.
Okay. We'll say a very big thank you to you. Reverend Jonathan Betty is the PRO for the Ghana Education Service there, helping us with some perspective on that issue. Well, you're still watching The Pulse, but remember the conversation I just had with Erastus? He spoke to some parents who, some of them want, some waiver, some of them think that free is free. Here's that conversation he had with them.
SS3 11.950
every term. So he says the son who is about to complete, he is paying, that is 1,100, almost 1,200 Ghana cedis per term. Sana is he where then out here?
Me pato me boja kakra nti ebi wa na makotu 500,000 ebi wa na makotu 1 million sa kakra me na me ditua.
He saves bit by bit in bits and pieces, and when he gets piece meals, he goes to pay. That's how she funds them. And he a buying person offer school fees, not secondary school, no, free. We are so funny in an ABA or an agent of Befamubia, a Mudian and Kababwa.
Because all don't we funny in an pay. There's now more and one funny in an won't say. In edge may be a nanny, the young Colan told me, no funny in an pay.
Well, she says that if government is able to absorb all the fees and not part of it, they will be very happy because they struggle to pay their school fees. Let me invite more of the parents to join me now and talk about how they go through, what they go through in actually paying their school fees. And I also saw money saying, I'm more SHS.
In fact, yeah, brave first name to say you. Akwala ba ko 11 million, 12 million.
And your body and
a term. Yeah,
or saying
the pacho ba ko 3. Ana ba ko so 1 or 2. Yeah, pa in fact, eduma ye kakra bodwa ya na ye ene ye tuatua ma school fees. Yeah, bre me nua be ma ntinke na ye te se na do say. Enko ba me free education. Ye de nki ye mpani free. Ye de ne se so ko ba kwa no wote so kakra ma ye. Na ye nso ye bo anki ye penki ye be ho men kakra ne ka ye betimi dia so mo ba no so. Entinki ye nya ye sre na so o mo ye sre no. Ye sre no pa.
Well, what she is saying is that she pays about 1,100, and that amount comes from petty trading she does, and that's how come they are appealing to the government. They here Nanado is coming up with a free SHS policy. In fact, they are even suggesting that if he won't absorb all the fees, and he will even absorb part of it, and so that they can also support with part payment, they will be so happy with that. So they are appealing to Nanado to make that.
Erastus, sorry, don't go there. Some want a waiver, something free means free, and it will help them. Okay, it's a developing story. We'll be following it with the ministry and bring you all the information that you need to know. Mainstream media like radio and TV previously enjoyed some form of control over news and information dissemination, but the dominance seems to be waning. Increasingly, people are getting different access to news and information without necessarily relying solely on TV and radio. On the occasion of World Radio Day on the theme Radio is You, Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba has been probing how some people access news and how some of the new methods pose a competition to traditional media like radio and TV.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News.
An important aspect of radio broadcasting journey in Ghana was an attempt to break the state broadcasters' monopoly. That led to the establishment of a radio station called Radio I, owned by Dr. Charles Rekubrobe in the 90s. Media pluralism and the emergence of technology means stiffer competition for traditional media like radio, be it online, social media. The news is everywhere. This means that consumers are now spoiled for choice. But in all of these, there are some persons who have remained loyal to radio. Ali Dubaba is one of them. He has been a security man for more than a decade. Ali tells me his job as a security man has compelled him to resort to radio as his only source of news. Here in his little office at the Mamobi Government Hospital, his radio finds space on the wooden table, which also has some foolscap notebooks.
Sometimes if you are at night duty and you have a radio by you, it keeps you awake. You will not sleep deep. Even if you doze off, you hear, then you come back to your decision. And then you listen to news, to what is happening around, especially Ghana, you hear. For instance, at the hospital here, you have people coming in and out, they'll be asking you questions. So you won't even get time to read paper or look TV. Yeah, you concentrate on. Some of them will ask you for directions. Maybe the fellow is going to maternity, to lab, administration. You have to direct them. And as far as, apart from that, you have to be watching other things too. They mix up, other criminals mix up with them and come. Somebody might come here as if he's sick or, no. They are coming purposely to steal people's things. So you identify people and then you work them out as well.
Unlike Ali Dubaba, 22-year-old Aurelia Atipu, a final-year computer science student of the University of Ghana, does not have the luxury of time to listen to radio. She spends the best part of her day in class. She can't afford to tune in when her lecturer is in class. She, however, resorts to other mediums like social media and online.
My information comes from online because as a student, busy schedules like class schedules and all that. So it's very, very difficult for you to listen to the radio like every single time because we are always thinking about like the next app we are going to create and things like that, your project work. You can't really be listening to radio. But what you can do is you can read online. I think that what the radio stations and other like TV owners can do is that they could create their apps and then also use their social media platforms to get more people informed about certain things in society. It's faster to get information on social media than the radio, and I always get my news on social media before I even hear it on radio or TV.
Aurelia and 3 of her colleagues in December represented the University of Ghana at the World Universities Debate Championship in the Netherlands. She tells me the team had to solely depend on online news for their preparations.
The one we relied on for the World Universities Debating Championship was online information, because we had a very busy schedule and we couldn't always like listen to radio. So you go onto Facebook, go to specific pages, get the information you need. I read about like 6 to 7 articles every single day just to keep myself informed about what's going on in the world. So if in a day I don't get to listen to the radio, I'm still sure that I have information about what's going on in the world.
So the emergence of social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter have made the accessibility of news via non-traditional media easier. You don't necessarily have to type the web address on your computer to get information. The news appears on your Facebook and Twitter timelines. The link is also shared by friends on WhatsApp. Professor Obigajiku believes social media delivers news with the speed of light. Mainstream media, she says, will not be able to catch up with that speed of information dissemination.
I think it's important for traditional media to recognize that they're not going to be able to compete in terms of speed with social media, but they are absolutely essential in terms of credibility. In certain sense it is. It's challenging traditional media to do things differently. And you're absolutely right. Social media breaks it. So social media is about speed. Traditional media, I think, should remember, but they are about credibility. They must verify. So we may hear something on social media, but we look to traditional media to confirm that is true or false. So it becomes very disappointing when traditional media, in their rush to compete with social media, put out news and information that may not be true in a lot of radio stations, in a lot of media. The challenge is social media, where anybody, any citizen can exchange news and information, and there's no control in social media. There's a lot of anonymity when it comes to social media, and so there's a lot of fake news.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Okay, Arrow Kumsing is here, and she's going to be telling us what's trending on social media. Good afternoon to you, Arrow.
Good afternoon. Now, Israel, you know that the president unveiled the logo for the Ghana 60 celebrations yesterday, and it was an impressive logo. Everybody loved it. We just present our colors. So Benjamin Isuman on Facebook says Ghana at 62 was a plagiarized one. That's what's trending on Facebook, really.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Araba Kumsing. With what's trending.
Media houses are aware of the power social media and the non-traditional media wield in the business of news. A lot of them have now included social media segments in their news, giving more meaning to the theme for the 2017 World Radio Day, Radio is You.
Was a plagiarized one. That's what's trending on Facebook, really.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Araba Kumsing. With what's trending.
So what will be the future of radio, and what will be the role of radio in development? It's a conversation that I'll be having with Suleimana Brahima, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. But for now, let's go to Bimbilla, where we understand there's some information on all the 15 suspects who were arrested during last week's violence in Bimbilla. We understand that they have been granted bail with a surety of 1,000 Ghana cedi each to reappear on the 27th of February. Hashmin Mohammed is our Northern Regional Correspondent. He joins me now with some details. Hello, Hashmin.
Hello.
What more do we know about this development?
Well, as you are aware, 21 suspects were picked in Bimbilla Township when the incident broke up. Following screening, police were able to release 6 of them and then arrange 15 of them before court today. And then in court today, the legal team of the suspects were able to argue their case out to get bail for them, and among the bail short conditions were each person with among the 15 persons were to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis each.
Okay. So, hello?
Hello?
Yes, Ashmin. So they've been allowed to go home basically, and then we appear on the 27th. We understand.
Yes, provided they are able to meet the bail conditions. After the time of leaving the court, some of them were still trying to arrange to make the payment before they release. Okay.
Let's go back to Bimbla and talk about the issues there. What has been the impact so far of this, what you can describe as a messy situation? What has been the impact? We understand that the schools are, children have been asked to stay at home, the hospitals as well are not doing very well.
The conflict is having a dire consequences on health delivery and education in the area because a lot of government workers have left the area for fear of their lives.
Okay.
Teachers who have been posted to that place have all left, and then even the children themselves, some of them have left the township with their children to Yendi, and then some are even in Tamale because the incident is such a way that they don't know when the issue will break up again. So for that matter, they have decided to flee the area, and the impact is also having same situation for health workers, especially the Bimbla Health Center.
What's happening? Have you got any further information on the health center and how it's been affected by this, apart from the doctors, perhaps some of the nurses leaving?
Well, my check there this morning revealed that some of the health workers have left the area, and then there were some people who turned up in their numbers this morning to seek medical service there at the health center, and they were not attended to simply because the majority of them have left the area. But in the area itself, a combined team of police and military personnel continue to patrol the area just to maintain peace. I am taking information that another batch of government officials will be visiting the place tomorrow, following yesterday's visit by RESEC and the Interior Minister.
Okay. And you've been speaking to some residents there as well. What have they been telling you, Ashmi?
Well, they still live in fear because these were attacks that were happening in their homes. Because a while ago, I spoke to some residents, and they were telling me that when the incident broke up, they are faulting the security for not attending to the issue on time, because they are saying that the incident happened for more than 5 hours, that the security, they've been able to do something until a reinforcement came all the way from Tamale. Even some of them were saying that if the Interior Minister, his RESEC team could travel by helicopter to the place, why then couldn't they have allowed that same military officers to travel on a helicopter so that they can attend to them on time? That if that had happened, then the incident where we've had more dozens of people dying wouldn't have happened.
There are some religious leaders in the town, Hashmin. I'm interested to know what they've been saying about the matter. Do you know?
Come again, Gift.
What are religious leaders in Bimbila saying about the situation? What are they doing about it? Have they got any role to play in this? Do we know?
Yes, they have taken advantage of their daily prayers to pray over peace in the area. And some of them are regretting over the incidents that happen, especially in the conflict where you are having women and children being the majority dead. And they have been praying over the issues and calling on the people the need for them to live in peace. And it is, according to the residents, it is just their expectation that people will listen to this incident. But there are some people who are still angry because they have lost their children, they have lost their wives, and you can imagine the kind of pain they will be going through.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hashmin. Hashmin Mohammed is our Northern Regional Correspondent there with an update on the Bimbila situation. The Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has hinted of plans by Ghana to take full control of Northern Region town of Dolapa and Boli Accra, being controlled by armed men there. The armed men attacked members of the Boli District Security Council last year, killing a soldier and a mother. Joe News' investigative journalist Kwete Nate visited the area and reported of illegal gold mining activities in the small towns of Dolapa and Bole Accra, which has been a big attraction to the former Ivorian rebels. Today, there was a meeting between the Interior Minister and the country's security chiefs on the issue. Here's Kwete Nate's conversation with the Interior Minister. However, before we bring you that, let's watch an excerpt of Rebel Land.
In areas where the government has little control, insecurity is a big problem. This is a fact not lost on Mumi and other small-scale miners here.
In case you get money here, some are also here, which they don't work. They're also here because of that job. If you get money and you misbehave, then they'll attack you and collect the money through if you are going home.
Okay. We also do understand that sometimes rebels, extort money from you people. Tell me about that.
If you are not careful, they will attack you because somebody is there looking for that kind of money and the fellow is not, he or she is not getting it. And you've gotten it and you are misbehaving, the fellow can attack you and collect the money.
Some go the extra mile to consult malams and spiritualists for protection here.
You can go to a big malam or a herbalist man, so you need a help. Something that he or she may give you something to protect yourself in case of working. The way you would have suffered before getting it, you will not suffer like that.
So some of you sometimes consult spiritualists to help you?
Yeah, or malam. Or if you have somebody who's also having income, the fellow is having small from somewhere, the fellow can support you with income money so that through that money to tend to you, you can become somebody.
This explains the reason why there are many checkpoints manned by local gunmen. I counted nearly 9 of these checkpoints on my way to Dolapa and Accra. They provide protection to the thousands of men who dig the earth and hit the rocks with pickaxes in search of gold. Some are unfriendly and would pull the trigger if they sense danger.
So those are excerpts from Rebel Land by Kwete Nate, our investigative journalist here. We can now listen to the Interior Minister, who we understand was quite impressed with the investigative piece. His main concern, however, is about how to maintain security in those areas so that those who make a living there could also do their work in peace. We can watch what he says now.
Well, after watching the documentary, as you know, I did it with all my commanders of institutions and the Ministry for the Interior. My impressions are positive. First, it's a good piece of investigative journalism, and it also raises issues that are pertinent to the activities of institutions, security institutions under the Ministry for the Interior. And so we're going to derive from that action plan in terms of what immigration needs to do about its nearest post to the area. We'll also take it from what the DISEC and Bole district, and of course the RESEC northern region, to work together to see the various aspects of security matters that need to be addressed.
Security is one of the concerns many of the persons I spoke to raised. So what the Interior Ministry doing to give reassurance to the people that the ministry is going to take charge of their security, especially in those areas?
First of all, I think that we are quite clear in our minds that the rebels are not squarely on Ghanaian soil. And what we need to do is to keep them outside Ghanaian soil. But one concern is that when you talk about the Dollar Town and Accra, in the rebel land as you described it may well be a reservoir of armed robbers who normally get out of those localities to perpetrate acts of robbery along the highway, and we've got quite a number of them. So one of the things we need to explore is to what extent those people who rob on the main roads could be from that. And also, we also want to ensure that the DISEC is in full control of what is happening there. Offenses committed there must be investigated and also dealt with according to law. So the various sections immediately that I think under the Ministry for the Interior are relevant are first, immigration, to deal with the movement in and out through that area into Le Côte d'Ivoire and back, and the police regarding the acts of lawlessness, where you have even people who are deprived of their property by armed people. We saw them handling arms. Do they have licenses to handle arms? All those things are relevant. And of course, for the activities in themselves, are they involved in legal and lawful activities?
The Interior Minister Ambrose Derry there speaking to Kwete Nate on that story, Rebel Land. Now, the Planning Committee of Ghana's 60th Independence Anniversary has resolved to operate within the 20 million cedi budget for the year-long celebration. The 40-member committee says it is guided by events of the Jubilee celebration 10 years ago, which saw an almost 300% budget overrun. The Dr. Charles Rekoprobe-led committee ended up spending $75 million from the initial budget of $20 million. Addressing the media at the Flagstaff House, member of the committee, Lord Comey, said the committee will operate strictly within the budget.
10 years ago, what I know is that over $75 million was spent on Ghana at 50. We're in this country. Under Nana Akufo-Addo's presidency, 10 years on, $4 million. So strike the difference and strike the balance. We just have to be focused on what we're doing. We have a mandate to be modest, but also very elegant. 7th of January, swearing in of the president. I'm sure that the people of this country, and I'm told even from you, that one of the wonderful things that happened in this country, very elegant, the amount of money spent on that program was less what was spent 4 years ago, 2012. We are not making noise about these things. So enough of the politics, and let's roll on. The lineup of activities you see here, the first phase at least, is already something that, as a nation, when I checked the 59th anniversary celebration budget of the March past alone at the Independence Square, it was close to 4 million Ghana cedis. And the records are there. And that's only for the March past, with service institutions and all that. So yes, change has come, and certainly we would be modest. And I'm sure that at the end of this whole exercise, Ghanaians will be very proud of it. So we don't want to delve too much into some of these politics and these talks. The lineup here you see are events apart from the first phase, which involves the normal things that we do as a nation, the parades and all that. It's more of private people's initiative. And what they are asking from the committee is some support. For example, the WBC, the Musica. If you talk to Obo and Co., this is Musica themselves putting up these things together. They want to be associated with Ghana 60 years on. We are giving them the support. And they are rolling out their own sponsorship. Of course, we would support them. At the end of the day, bits and pieces of all these support, surely, I really don't think that there will be a problem. If indeed, at the end of the day, there still are problems, we wouldn't mind coming back to the Ghanaian people to let them understand. Transparency is key. Proper accountability is also very key. And so, Elton, I can assure you that at the end of this exercise, we would be on point. What the president said was even a budgeted for amount of money. We may not even be able, because you cannot spend what you don't have. I mean, as we speak now, there hasn't been anything on the table for this committee to say that this is how much we are putting on the table from state coffers. We're being asked to go out there and solicit for support.
Lord Comey, who is also the operations director at the presidency, outlined the program of activities for the year-long event.
And the first thing is the reenactment of the 28th February Crossroads shooting incident. I'm sure that when we talk about Ghana 60 years on, there are owners, there are people who brought us this far. The struggle for independence is important, and every year these lineup of activities are done. Because, as I said, it's a Jubilee year, we have to add some touch, and I'm sure that when the time comes, you would see something that is quite unique. The launch of the Jubilee Tech Startup Challenge is going to be held on the 22nd of February. And then, as I said, the reenactment of the 28th February Crossroads ceremony, eve of anniversary, is also. And then you have the parade itself. The parade, which we all know, involves the veterans from the World War II. Finals of public schools 60th anniversary debates. As I speak to you now, the regional debates are ongoing. It's left with 2 regions, and then there will be the final of this debate, also scheduled as part of the Ghana 60 years old anniversary. The launch of the Jubilee Youth Entrepreneur Challenge is also slated for the 1st of March. Tales of Yesteryear's documentary would be on. As I said, it's important that we remind ourselves as a nation where we're coming from, where we are now, and possibly moving forward and mobilizing for Ghana's future, where we would.
Lord Comey is a member of the Ghana 60 Anniversary Committee. Well, the committee is also denying plagiarizing the logo for the celebration. Head of the media subcommittee, Jefferson Saki, says the logo, designed by a student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, was chosen after several checks to guarantee its originality.
I think we've all seen it on air, and it is something we don't really want to re-echo, because, I mean, it was a transparent process. People submitted their artworks. We ensured that we saw the process with which they were going through in designing their logos. I can tell you for a fact that we received over 100, of them. What the subcommittee had to do was sit down and then select 20 of them and present it to the National Planning Committee. At the National Planning Committee, they went ahead, selected 5 of the logos, and then we actually had to submit these 5 logos to experts in the design industry, in the media industry, for them to see if they can actually link the theme to what they have actually presented. And in doing that, we were able to get it. Then they actually selected 1 logo to represent, the anniversary celebration. So the issue of plagiarism is something that it comes to us as a surprise. And in fact, we've done our own research and all that. I can tell you for a fact, as at Friday in the night, when we received the message that there was something like that going on, we Googled if we could find where that logo is coming from. We couldn't find it. By Saturday morning, we saw, that website under construction, and we have video, pictorial evidence to show. Today, as we speak, they've actually loaded content onto that website, created a Facebook page. As at Saturday, there were 2 people liking the Facebook, and it's increasing. We don't want to associate ourselves with that. We want to depart from that. I think that this is a new government. I can assure you that propaganda will not be part of this government. And so whenever you hear these things, It is up to you as media people to do your own research and clarify it.
Jefferson Saki there.